Hello, everyone. It is Tiffany of Clarity, Confidence, Courage, Women's Empowerment, and I wanted to do this video to talk about anxiety. Yes, I know so many of you are feeling anxiety right now, given the current situation of the world. I mean, there's so much happening depending on where you live, where you are, and what you're experiencing. The coronavirus, but also just everyday issues that are happening in our country, in our world, in our nation, in our homes, that's making us anxious, that's making us feel that jittery feeling like we are on eggshells because we're afraid we don't know what's going to happen. So today I want to talk about 3 strategies that you can use right now to cope. Coping meaning that you're figuring out a way to get through it. A lot of times when I talk to my coaching clients one-on-one, women come to me that, of course, want to build up their confidence, they want to build up their courage, but they also may be struggling or dealing with issues from childhood, from relationships, things that they never settled. And so it has caused a fear or an anxiety because when they think about moving forward, they get stuck because they believe that whatever they went through in the past is going to happen again. And a lot of times anxiety happens when we think about things that have not occurred. We're thinking about future or thinking about consequences of things that have not happened. It really is rooted in fear. And it's all an emotional experience that can have physiological effects: sweating, heartbeat, tremors, sleepless nights. I mean, you name it, you can be experiencing anxiety at any point in time. So the 3 coping strategies that I want to talk about are going to help you deal and cope through your issues when it comes to anxiety. Of course, before we jump into the content, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, let other women know about this information so they can help themselves understand how to deal with anxiety. So let's deep dive in. Now, the first coping mechanism that I want to talk about is distraction. Now, I know you're thinking, Tiffany, how is distraction a coping mechanism? Distraction can be things like reading a book, watching TV, listening to music, cleaning up your house, cooking. Distraction, on a positive note, helps you to not think about the issue, especially if it's something that is causing you a lot of anxiety, a lot of pain in the moment. A distraction to quickly get your mind off the situation may help you feel better temporarily, at least in that moment. Now, of course, the con of the distraction is that it is temporary and it doesn't necessarily get to the root of the issue. Yes, it kind of helps you to keep going so you don't fall apart, but it's not really dealing with the issue itself. When you get to the root of the issue, that is when you can actually absolve the problem itself and absolve the anxiety. The second coping mechanism I want to talk about is grounding. Grounding can mean being grounded in your confidence or grounded in your faith. The idea of grounding is really stepping into your present moment, being very mindful and self-aware in the moment so that your mind isn't focused too far in the future and it's not there in the past. It's right here. It's making your mind understand that everything is going to be okay. In your present moment, you are safe. In your present moment, there is nothing to fear. In your present moment, you can reduce your anxiety and kind of get yourself in a powerful, powerful way to focus on where you are now so that it helps you to understand you are not in fear of your life. I mean, unless you're literally running in fear of your life, but 9 times out of 10, when it comes to anxiety, it's about something that has not happened. So what grounding does, it brings us back to the present moment. Now, ways that you can ground yourself, you can, walk in nature. Nature a lot of times will ground you to keep your mind focused on things that are in the present moment. Birds chirping, dogs barking, the leaves rustling on the trees. It just keeps your mind off of all the things that would cause you anxiety and make you calm down. The other thing that you can do to ground yourself is meditation. Meditation is a great way to ground yourself and keep you in the present moment. There's so many different meditations out there that you can do. I personally love the I am meditation, where you're just sitting down and you're grounding yourself. Meditation is actually something that I talk about in my confidence mini course. It's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. So guys, stay tuned for that. Now, the con for grounding yourself is that grounding isn't something that you may be able to always do in a quick situation. You know, if you're getting nervous about a meeting that you're about to have with someone or a speaking engagement and you have to get ready to go in front of this group or this audience, you may not be able to go somewhere meditate, or you may not be able to go take a long walk in nature. So that's the only thing with grounding. Grounding is something that sometimes you may have to just make it a part of your everyday life experience to keep your anxiety in control and in check. So grounding, again, is a great method, but you may not be able to do it all the time. A third really effective way to cope is through emotional release. So what do I mean when I say emotional release? I'm talking about physically releasing the emotions. That can be crying, getting those emotions out, expressing the pain. That could be screaming, just screaming in your house, screaming in the car to the top of your lungs because you're expressing anger. That could be kickboxing. I think a lot of times when you're able to, of course, in a controlled environment, hit something or kick something and get that rage or whatever it is out, you definitely can force yourself to release that anxiety. Sometimes for some people that can be writing. Even writing can be a way to emotionally release. And during that time, you might cry or you might scream or you might laugh. And laughter is another way to emotionally release. Watching a funny video or reading some funny comics in order to laugh, in order to get those emotions out of you. So emotional release is a great coping mechanism when you're going through a traumatic time or you're dealing with anxiety. Now, the other side of the emotional release, the con, is that you may, again, not always be in an environment where you can scream or you feel comfortable just crying in front of people. So it may not be always something that you can do. But when you are in a place where you can scream or you can cry or you can kick something that doesn't harm anyone else, that is definitely a time where you can emotionally release. Now, you can do all of these coping mechanisms at the same time. You know, if you want to go and clean your house and then later go for a walk in the park and then come home and laugh at a funny movie. I mean, of course, all those things can be forms of coping mechanisms that you can do anytime you want to or at the same time. But the one thing that I tell women that really, really helps when it comes to coping with anxiety is getting the help that you need. These are 3 very short-term, quick and to the point coping mechanisms that you can use anytime. But when it comes to really dealing with anxiety, dealing with depression, or dealing with healing and trying to get through a very challenging situation, you may need to speak to a counselor or a therapist, or you may need to get coaching if you're trying to truly move forward and change your life, because that is what's going to help you get to the root of the issue to deal with the anxiety so that you can move forward. So I wanted to do this quick video because I'm sure, like myself and so many other women that I know, you may be dealing with a lot of issues, especially with everything that's going on in the world. So use these coping mechanisms to help you get through. And know this, ladies, number 1, you're not alone. And number 2, you cannot be all things to all people. So the first person you need to take care of is yourself. Do the best that you can with that first. And then when you have the bandwidth, help others get better as well. And of course, if you want to dig deeper and go into some challenging situations that are causing you anxiety, then definitely hit the link below, get on my calendar so that we can talk about maybe some strategies for the long term that you can use to really change your life and create a life that you absolutely love. All right, ladies, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.